Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Satisfactory, and today we are going to be starting a new game. We're going to be playing out of the Dune Desert. I've never actually used this start before, so I thought it might be kind of fun to do this. I haven't done the Northern Forest either, but I don't really like the idea of having to clear a bunch of trees to get building area. This one, at least we have open space to kind of build at our whim. The challenge of this area is there is not a lot of foliage, so getting power started initially is going to be a little bit tricky, primarily because you do not have access to as much biomaterial to make biofuel. So that's fine. I think that'll be kind of fun. Just so you're aware, I am playing with two sets of mods for this playthrough. We're going to be using Buildable Resource Nodes Redux as well as Refined Power. The reason why I play with these is, well, for Buildable Resource Nodes, in my opinion, I like that mod very, very much. I don't know if I'd play the game without it, just because it allows you to set up resource nodes wherever you want on the map after you research technology, and they do cost the resources that you're building the node out of in order to craft. So, for example, if I wanted to build an iron node, I need to have 500, 1,000, or 1,500, I believe are the numbers. It may have changed. I haven't played for a while. But you need that amount of iron ore in order to place the node. So it is not just a cheat code. It does make the game significantly easier as when it comes to scaling up your production and your automation once you get past like the starting stages, right? This prevents me from having to travel, for hours of real time in order to get to another node and then run a conveyor belt back in order to expand a new line in our factory. So I do this primarily because it makes it easier to record. For refined power, I like that mod because I think it does a much better job at giving you power options once you hit coal or like that early mid stage of the game. Don't get me wrong, the coal power plant from the base game is fine, but I like how refined power deals with that. Instead, you get more buildings that go into it. Seems a little bit more realistic. I like it, so we're playing with it. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it just base game settings. LD7 Update 8 is session name, and I could probably skip the onboarding process. I'm not going to, just because you still have to do all the unlocks and stuff for it. I guess it does keep the AI. You know what? We're just going to disable it and hit start game. We're going to load in. We're going to play. This first episode is likely going to be quite a bit longer than the rest of them in the series, and that is just simply because of the fact starting out a new game in Satisfactory takes a while. This is being done because I got a comment on one of my Dyson Sphere videos asking if I would make some Satisfactory videos, so I figured, what the heck, let's do it. I also haven't played Satisfactory since Update 7 first came out. It's been over a year, roughly, or about a year, maybe, according to my Steam, since I've loaded into the game. So it should be fun. I'm kind of looking forward to playing it. From what I have seen in the update and patch notes, it looks like they have adjusted quite a bit of the terrain and that kind of stuff. So here we are. We are in the desert. Look at us. Look at all these fun places. Ooh, that is radiation. That's uranium. Interesting. Cool. Not going to pick that up because it will likely kill us. I don't know if it still irradiates you, if it's just in your inventory. My guess is it probably does. I kind of have to get used to... So Q is to build. That's great. It does give me the stuff to place our hub. Actually, before we get to that... How do I get the scanner? Is it F? F is build, C is crouch, Z, X, T is emotes. Okay, here. Sorry, guys. It's been a minute. I just need to look at the settings real quick for the controls. Key bindings. Here we go. This is what I want. So I can scan for resources. Teleport. I don't care about. Menus, equipment. Resource scanner. V. Of course, the one key I didn't try. Let's see. We need to find some iron. So there's limestone right here. There's copper right there. And that iron's pretty close. So I guess we will run over to this iron. Is kind of the plan. Here we go. Yeah. But super stoked to be playing some more Satisfactory. It is quite a good game, in my opinion. I like it quite a bit. Um, I don't know, I have like 150 hours, something like that in the game. Somewhere in that neighborhood. So not crazy, crazy, but, you know, a reasonable amount. Yeah.
This is one of multiple edibles we have detected in your vicinity.
Thank you. I know what that is. We are going to grab this quartz.
This mineral shows purity level.
Perfect. Just get a little bit. That unlocks some stuff in the MAM, I believe. So the early, or not early game, but the research station. You have research off your hub and then also off the MAM if you're new to the game and haven't played before. That's kind of how that works. So we got 2 iron nodes here. We've got a copper node there and a copper node there. The limestone is being guarded. There is another limestone right there that I can see. Okay, I think this is a reasonably good area. We will go ahead and place our hub probably like this. And I think we'll prioritize getting that copper. Obviously, we're taking this iron. Great. Let's just interact in this. R&D. I don't care about that. Refined Power Mark 1 we can't quite get. That gives us wind turbines. That might be useful. Sandboard we can't do. We do get access in Tier 1 to limestone, iron, and copper nodes. As you can see, it takes 500 of each to unlock that. We have base building, which is pretty good. Logistics gives us splitters and mergers. That's pretty good. Field research gives us the MAM. That's probably going to be a useful thing. Oh, we actually get access to quartz nodes right at the beginning. So if we can get 500 raw quartz, we can get some of that set up. That'd be great. Let's see. Cateriums unlock this early. Cool. We have to find it, of course. Assemblers, obstacle clearing, jump pads, other cartridge. Okay. Good enough. Where do we get the... Can I just build the weapon straight out? I probably I do have the weapon. Excellent. This should be in my hands like that. We're going to sort this. Cool. Yeah, a zappy zappy. Let's go. We are going to go ahead and take one of these iron nodes. We're going to pick up this wood. This is a normal node. Is this a pure node? Or are they both normal? They're probably both normal. That's pretty standard. Yeah, they are both normal. So we'll take the closer one. Why not? So we'll mine up this iron. And I don't remember if we start with enough to build a mining drill right out the gate. Miner Mark 1, we do. So we're going to do that. And I think we are going to point it kind of like in this direction. This is what I want to do. I'm going to take the power line, bring it right here, connect that into our generators. And actually, you know what? We're going to break that. What I'm going to do instead is put this on its own pole and then use that to bridge. And then we are ultimately going to need some copper, so we'll just kind of pre-place that. I am going to grab up this wood, and we can throw that in our generators, start mining up some iron. That'd be great. One thing that we definitely want to look at trying to get up sooner rather than later is iron plates. Those are quite important. They are used to build just about everything, like conveyor belts take iron plate. We also want to get rods set up as well, but iron plate is kind of the priority to start out, in my opinion. So we're going to take some constructors. Well, actually, first we need a smelter. So this is a normal node, which means this guy right here is going to do 60 per second. A smelter is going to do 30 a second each. So we actually need one. It's control to lock that. Okay, 1, 2. Now, we don't have splitters yet, and that's A-okay. I am just going to soft flip that power pole in so I can do this. And now I've got all... actually, I'd prefer to put them all off of this one power pole. Awesome. Sweet. If we take 3, I'm only going to be able to feed one of these smelters to start with. Once we get our splitter built out, or unlocked, I guess is maybe the better way. And you know what? We are going to try to make this look a little bit nicer. Maybe like that. And then, sure, it can get a little wonky right there. Not a big deal. Eventually, we're going to throw a splitter right there. It'll split into both of these. Great, great, great. Let's do this. I kind of wouldn't mind taking this little hog boy out. So we're going to Try to get him. Come here, bud. Aw, he did hit us. Twice. 3 times. Now he's dead. Okay, fair
The
enough.
remains of this creature might shed light on how to increase
I am going to throw
chances of
this in our
survival.
other hand. Yes, thank you. I am aware that having the alien parts unlocks research. That's great. Okay. Excellent. We should probably get some copper set up. Now, you get some ore when you first tap the node. This is an impure, so that's honestly not great. This is only going to give us 30. But for starting out, this will be fine. Realistically, we don't need anywhere near as much copper as we do iron, at least in the early game. Once you get further along, you definitely need a lot of copper. But hopefully by then, and likely by then, we will have unlocked the buildable resource nodes, so we can kind of just set up our stuff. So all copper is really used for at this stage is making your power cables. So there is a little spitter boy. We should probably take him out too. Not doing great at dodging these shots. Yeah, took him. That's right, bud. Don't be messing. All right, let's go. We're going to go ahead and put in some power. Can I grab this? I can grab this. And can I crouch under? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that placement. Eventually, we are going to be adjusting this and putting everything on foundation, so don't you worry. We will do that. But yeah, so we've got our first iron miner, our first copper miner, and our smelters built out. What I do want to get set up is a constructor that basically feeds straight out of this smelter. And what this guy is going to be making us is iron plate. This takes 20 or 30 ingots per minute to make 20 plates. This is going to produce 30 ingots from 30 ore. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, real easy to set up. I am just going to throw another coal right here. I know we're already making a mess of things, but it doesn't matter. So there's that. We got that going. I think the next step, we are going to go ahead and set up our... Yeah, we don't have any power. So I probably need to go over to that little oasis area, is my guess, and try to get some stuff to make... or get some more plant material so we can keep our generators running. So yeah, this area is going to be a bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do here, I am just going to snap these guys together because that copper is basically just for power cables. We are going to need more power cables here shortly. You use them when you build power poles as well, so that's kind of copper dealt with pretty much in its entirety. I mean, once we get access to splitters,
Technologies can be developed.
we will be building a storage box to kind of buffer both the cables as well as the the cables and the coils of copper. And then we're also going to put that stuff up for our iron plates and iron rods. We do need to set up iron rods, but realistically we can't do that until we get splitters unlocked. So I think our first research is actually going to be for splitters. So that's kind of what we're going to do. The other thing I want to prioritize, I want to get limestone set up and started as well, just because limestone is required to make concrete, which is used to build all the foundations. And honestly, I would prefer to be building everything on foundations sooner rather than later. Just means you have to rip up less of the factory to make it look nice later. So that's kind of our other goal, is to get that set up. But first things first, we need to gather up all this plant material. And yeah, kind of get enough so we can keep our generators running for a little bit at least. I mean, not going to be perfect by any sense, but that's okay. We gather up all this. I mean, we've got, what, 400 leaves? That's not a whole lot. I don't recall. You might actually have access to craft this up into the next tier of fuel, which may be worth doing. It usually is worth doing that. So we might go ahead and handcraft some fuel to throw in our generators instead of just popping in the leaves and the wood that we gathered up over here. But I think after we clear out the rest of this little grass, we will run back and kind of get our power back online so we can at least create some iron plates, some cables, and kind of get ready to roll. Of course, this, I think, starting out in this area is going to make our early game progression take just a touch longer because of the limited amount of plant material you have to generate your power. Until you unlock coal power, basically plants is the way you're gonna generate your fuel. So that could be an issue. Now, with refined power, we do get access to like wind turbines. Early game, we took a look at that research actually. So we could, I guess, try to build something like that, make it all renewable and whatnot. In theory, that would be best for us long term because then I don't have to come out here and try to gather more plant material. And of course, if I clear out all this plant material, it's going to take a while. I honestly, I don't even know if it respawns. It might respawn. If it does, it takes a long time for that to happen. So, once we burn through this initial load of fuel, we're not going to have any more fuel really close by. We're going to have to go for quite a ways in order to pick it up. Now, what I will do, I think we are close to the limestone node. Limestone node is right there. It is being guarded, so we'll have to clear out that hog. That's fine. We'll do that. I think I will place the miner down and build our concrete factory out here as well, just so we can start getting that rolling as well. Foundations do require quite a bit of concrete, so it is one of those things. The sooner you get the production line for it set up, the better you're going to be. But that's a-okay. Just finish gathering all this. I really am looking for the wood. The wood is worth so much more than leaves when it comes to fuel. So, yeah. I'd like to pick up at least all the wood. We have like 1,200 leaves, which is great. That will sort us for a little bit anyway. Cool. Awesome. I will take this big guy. There we go. Okay. I think we'll call that good for this trip. Leave some of the plants around. Yeah, buddy. We just jumped you. Come here. Thank you for your remains, Mr. Hog. This is a pure limestone node, so that's actually great. That means we're going to make 60 limestone out of this. Once we have splitters, that actually will fuel for constructors making concrete for us. So that's fantastic to find. Actually, the highest purity out of all of the nodes that we have access to starting out, or that we decided to tap starting out, is maybe a better way to say that. I think I will leave a little bit of space between this guy and this guy, but we do need some power connection. So concrete just takes limestone direct. Fantastic. And yeah, we're missing wires, so we can't even build that. Great. So we're going to have to come back over there once we get our power turned back on to connect up the concrete production. And that's fine. That's fine. All right. So we could just slam this stuff in. I think it is worth going over and handcrafting it into biomass. So I'm going to just craft this up. It doesn't take too long, just because it does utilize, like, it takes 10 leaves per 5 biomass, so you do churn through the stack pretty quick. With wood, I think the ratio is a little bit better, but it also churns through the stack pretty quick. We don't have very much wood anyway. We only have like 294 as opposed to the 1,200 leaves that we had. But biomass is just a much more efficient burning fuel than the raw leaves, raw wood that we can gather off the ground. So I think it is worth converting all of this into biomass. So as you can see, the little bit of it's 4 wood per biomass. We're going to get like 1,200 biomass by doing this. Or it's 4 wood per 20 biomass. So we get quite a bit more. So wood is by far a better ratio on this when compared with leaves. But this will give us, I don't know how much, maybe like 2,000 biomass in total, somewhere in that neighborhood, which should, in theory, run our power for quite a bit of time. I don't like doing a whole lot of manual building, but when you first start out, it's kind of something you're forced into a little bit. So, you know what? It's not the end of the world. There's that. Now we do have a little bit of leftover wood and such. Oh, was this just not sufficient power density? Is kind of what that looks like. So we will go ahead and make the rest of this wood into biomass. Might as well. And I think if we power both of these, it'll maybe be enough. It'd be great if we didn't have to put in biomass, turn this on. Is that enough? Yes, that is enough. Fantastic. So that is rolling. We will get some iron plate. We will get some cable. What I should build real quick, let's go ahead and convert this copper ore into ingots, and then I'm going to make some wire. That's why I couldn't build the power poles. They do take wire. So you need both wire and cables in order to make the things. I'll also likely convert this iron ingot into, or convert our iron ore into ingots. That way we are in a spot where we can make a few rods, because we only have a constructor making plates right now. And you do need rods for storage containers as well as the power poles. I believe take rods as well. So we do need some rods. We'll get that set up soon. We just need to kind of get started on some research is kind of the next stage. So here's this. We're going to make some rods. Then we're going to make some wire. And then we'll take a look at research and see what we need in order to kind of... I think what we should do first is get splitters. They really are required if you're going to try to build any sort of ratioed automation, which is kind of something I want to look at doing as much as possible. I mean, not everything's going to be a perfect ratio, just the way it is, but splitters are definitely required for that. So we need logistics is the one. 150 plates, 150 rods, 300 wire. Okay. So it actually might make sense to not turn this wire into cable. Now, granted, these do not have a storage box, so they should buffer eventually. Like, this will only hold 200 cable. This should hold 500 wire once it fully buffers. This guy over here is going to hold a couple hundred plates. Now, this one, I am more inclined to put a storage box down for, just because I want to buffer more than the couple hundred iron plates that will come out on its own. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. All right, let's throw this power pole here. We're just going to run this out to our concrete. Fantastic. So that's going to go, and I think I will also build a storage box over here for the concrete. Because I want more than... I think concrete stacks to 200 as well, but I want more than that being generated. Actually, this takes 45 limestone for 15. This does 120, so really this is just... Actually, this is only doing 30 per minute. Oh, it's impure. Okay. So this basically doesn't even power one constructor making concrete, so that's unfortunate. There is another limestone off in this direction, so we could maybe take a look and try and tap that. But yeah, so we've got our basic start kind of rolling. We've got cable, wire being built automatically. We've got iron plates set up to automatically be constructed. So cool. Slow start, but that's kind of how it is every time in Satisfactory. Being in the desert, no different. It's still going to be a slow start. You just have the added difficulty of power being a little bit more cumbersome to get going, I guess. So, all right. Kind of what we need to look at doing here is, as far as I'm concerned, we want to get splitters set up so then we can kind of fully utilize the nodes that we've tapped. So I need 150 iron plate, 150 rods, and then some cable. Copper cable, right? So I think I'm going to mine some of this iron ore and just kind of look and see what do we got in here. We do have a little bit buffered. If I go ahead and convert this directly into iron ingot, that will save us... yeah, we can't actually run that. Unfortunate. Okay, fine. Fair enough. We will not do that then. There you go, buddy. You happy again? You're happy again. Oh, man. Yeah, we need to build some power as well, meaning like real power generators, not the ones off of the hub. You start with 2 biomass burners is basically what you get with the hub. You can build more of them, obviously, and you have to build more of them as well, I might add, if you want to have any amount of automation. As you can see, or well, we have what? 3 miners, 2 smelters, and 3 constructors. That is all that will be supported by 2 biomass burners, right? I can't even plug in an extra smelter at this point. So, yeah, we are gonna need to build some biomass burners in order to continue scaling the size of our factory. Totally fine. It was to be expected. I was hoping I could greed out just a little bit more machinery with our current setup of power, but that is not the case, and that is a-okay. We will get it dealt with here probably sooner rather than later, honestly. I'm just converting that iron ore we gathered into our other stuff. I am going to drop off some of these things that I don't really need on me right now. We can put the leaves in there too, I suppose. Cool. Yeah, so I think... What does it cost to do this? It's 200 plates, 150 rods. So honestly, it might be worth getting the wind turbines before splitters from the looks of things. Let's go ahead and grab this. Did our power die again? No. Okay, good. How many plates do we have? 78. All right, that's reasonable. Not quite there, but I think if we take this iron or turn it into ingots and then make some rods, we can go ahead and get wind turbines researched, and I think we'll do that. And maybe instead of doing a bunch of biomass burners, we'll actually use the wind turbines. Now, that is coming from the refined power mod. Those are not in the base game, so just be aware if you aren't playing with the same mods that I am, you're not going to have that research nor the buildings available to you. With that being said, the way wind turbines work, they generate more power the higher up they are, and they also have some limitations as far as how close you can place them together. So I believe you have to space them something like 15 foundations apart in order to get the max amount of power generation from each individual turbine. If you have turbines that are closer together than that, it decreases the overall production of each turbine until it reaches 0. So basically, you can't just plonk down a bunch of wind turbines right in a row and expect to get any power out of it. You'll actually get no power out of it. So, yeah, with that in mind, having foundations is way better before you start trying to place a bunch of wind turbines, just because you have a way to kind of calculate the distance between the objects as you place them with foundations, whereas just straight out wind turbines, you can tell because it'll tell you that it's being impacted or its efficiency is low because of a nearby turbine and stuff like that. But yeah, so we got our 150 rods. Let's just go ahead and get our couple of plates that we need. Then I can get turbines done. Sure. Boom, boom. Oh, we need 200 plates. JK. All right, so we need to make a little bit more plate. Then we can probably go grab the rest out of our box, and that'll be just perfect. Make 1 rod. Sure. We got 2 rods. Woo. Yeah, it's always a slow start, so not a big deal. I think 60 will be enough. We put in 150, so we'll even have a few left over, which is great. Here we go. Fantastic. Launch that pod. Woo.
Milestone reached.
So let's see what it costs to build these. Yes, thank you. Now, Refined Power has its own little tab in your builder. So each one of these is 20 iron plate and 30 rods. So here's the little tooltip for it. Generates between 10 and 30 megawatts based upon its height. If multiple turbines are in its vicinity, the output diminishes. Each additional wind turbine within the range decreases power output. Furthermore, it can be connected in sequence of up to 2 power lines, allowing for daisy chaining. So what's cool about these is you only need to have one point that brings power to the line or connects it to your grid, and then you can actually connect all of your turbines together, meaning you can connect one turbine to another turbine, etc., etc. So that's great because it saves us a lot of cost on cable and copper wire. um, to actually string these guys together. You still have to spend cable, but you don't have to build power poles for every turbine, so that's great. I'm going to make some more iron rods because we are not building those automatically. Just so we have some, we might be able to plonk down a couple turbines. I'm curious to see how much power they're going to generate if we just do them straight on the ground, because that would mean we could potentially build a little bit of power infrastructure before we get our foundations researched. That is a research you have to unlock. You can't just build them straight out the gate. We'll take a look at that once the pod returns, and we can... It's like 30 seconds. That'll probably be about when we finish doing all this handcrafting. I know I said I don't like doing handcrafting in the early game. You're kind of forced to do this if you want to progress a little bit faster. So I'm willing to take that hit and kind of get some rods crafted automatically. But yeah, our pod is going to land probably when we finish these ingots. So we can take a look and see what it costs to unlock foundation. Once you have foundations, then it is generally worth it if you're going to use turbines to build up into the air. So let's go to select milestone. It's going to be base building. So we need base building to get the foundations as well as the ramps. We also get walls, so that's cool. And the lookout tower is kind of nice. So we need 100 rods, 100 plates, and 200 concrete. I think we will just queue that up as our next research. Sounds like a plan to me. We're going to build some rods. We can probably go over and take a look, see how much concrete we have. We are chilling on 17 right now, and I can build another 33, so that would give us 50 in total. So if I have 150 concrete in our box over by our limestone, then we should be in a spot that we can maybe finish this research straight out, which would be fantastic. I'm just going to go ahead and build this concrete manually before we run over there. Gives the box just a little bit of additional time to generate some more of that good, sweet concrete that we're looking for. But yeah, it's not going to be perfect. We also are going to have 2 left over, which is fine. We will probably throw that into the constructor because our impure limestone node that we have tapped is not sufficient to actually run this machine at full efficiency, and that's okay. Not the end of the world. So we'll just drop that in there. We've got another 86, so yeah, we're going to be waiting on concrete is what it looks like. We can, I suppose, go check on our copper and see how that's doing. We might have a full load of cables, which would be great, because that means we also have been building some copper coil for us, or it'll actually buffer in this guy right here. So we haven't actually done it, because this runs on 60, this only produces 30. So we aren't at ratio for that either. Gosh, we have no ratio set up right now. Except for the iron plate. The iron plate is technically at ratio right now. The smelter is getting more than it needs. So the smelter's not at ratio, but this constructor is at ratio. So that's good. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is we'll probably just wrap the episode up for today. We got 1 research, so we got our refined power wind turbine research done. So I think that's a reasonable place to stop. We'll come back. I'll probably do some crafting and kind of just let things tick over in between episodes so we can hopefully generate enough resources to get our foundations and maybe even get splitters in the next one. I don't want to bore you. It's basically just going to be me chilling here, waiting for our machines to tick in the meantime, so that's not super riveting to watch, so I don't want to bore you with it. But guys, we will be back in the next episode shortly. As far as like release schedule for this, I don't know what that's going to look like. I am traveling for the next little bit after next week, so we'll get probably quite a few episodes right off the bat close together, and then it might pause for a little bit. So I do apologize about that, kind of the nature of the work I do. I travel for work, so sorry about that, but yeah, I still have to work a job. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya!